Hey, muy buenas tardes to everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Y como siempre, mi gente, muchísimas gracias for you guys' words, prayers, and your great support. Now, to get into the story at hand, this one's gonna be kinda short. I just wanted to touch on something that currently happened that a lot of people touch on it, but they don't seem to touch on the core of things. Now I want to talk about Wicked from Bly Street. And first and foremost, my condolences to his family. Whatever we decide to do with ourselves or lives, at the end of the day, family suffer as well. So, mi respetos to his family. But anyways, I'm gonna try to keep marcas out this video for the fact that I don't want it to ricochet towards anybody, right? But me and Wicked, we actually were in a jardín at one time together. At the time we were both young. I'm a year younger or so than he was, but at this time he wanted to be in the mix tough. And I did too. To be sincere, it was just the beginning of my term, and well, as I've said before, my ambition was to put my neighborhood in the right map. At this time, all I thought was I gotta do things correctly and leave my neighborhood in good taste. At all times, my neighborhood, because it's what we're there for mainly, right? But anyways, in this jardín or this yard, the homie that had the yard was a homie from Garrity Lomas. Firme homie. He was a good camarada. He actually took time to listen to the young bucks as myself at this time and Wicked that wanted and some says was in touch with somebody. Like as you guys know me and Raul. So he used to give us clecha, right? And in this yard I was working the kitchen and there was this other camarada from Black Street. He was a real cool dude, real playful and I actually told a story about him that down the line he couldn't let things go with a certain homie from Columbus Street that got him crossed up mainly. But anyways, this was years before, and see, when we were in the kitchen, there were certain times where we could make footballs, right, of roast beef, whatever, and flick them across to the yard at night. So when this happened, it was basically there was a war that was about to go up. So they requested for us to find some weapons stock back there, but it's not as easy as they used to walk around and make sure everything and verify the scullery machine, egg that there was nothing missing. So it wasn't as easy as it was said, and anyways, I happened to run into luck where there were some things that I flicked across and you know the camarada from Bly Street as other camaradas, right? They couldn't. So then it became a favor to a mandatory thing, and which it should never be. At the end of the day, it's what a camarada could do, not what he has to do. Well, at least in this time, right? And anyways, at the end of the day, nobody was saying anything, But in the huddles we had, you know, we try to, well, at least me, a young buck just butting in, being a sideliner, listening to the things that were going on in church. So as I'm there, I start hearing Wicked, you know, he starts politicking on his homeboy. Literally. Like nah, he didn't meet the goal and now mind you, this other camarada, he must have been a year or 2 years older than homeboy. He was mainly about camaradas and he ha ha try to mind his business, right? Not like these dumb butts that were trying to blend into something that we did not. really comprehend where it was gonna, or at least myself, where it was gonna lead to. But I started hearing this vato, right? And off the back, he robbed me the bad way, cause again, to me, that's a no-no, period, You gotta have love for where you come from. For those that come before you, more than anything, they open up the path to whatever you're representing, right? Well, at least it's the way I look at it. I don't have no older homies from my neighborhood, but it's the sense I personally take from, you know, suffering and bleeding or whatever thing, being back there sitting down, going through struggles for your neighborhood to be here bad talking about a camarada from your neighborhood and try to push that line to where he needs to get checked because he didn't meet the goal. Mind you, this is way before all that extra stuff happened with him in his neighborhood. And it came down to, well, you know what? When certain issues like this present themselves, a camarada that has a good solid head on his shoulders, he won't allow another car to hit the individual from your area, neighborhood X. He tries to get that area or that neighborhood to handle his own so there wouldn't be no extra conflicts. So they told Wicked, all right, you pressing for this? Ahí te va, go ahead, handle it. And prideful, literally prideful, this dude went over there and, he touched him with that one thing a couple times. And it was just a chicada, right? To basically get in line. But what stuck with me first and foremost was that they were hood homies. When somebody's willing to take down a member from your own neighborhood on the streets, how much love can you have for your neighborhood, right? So that stuck with me. We continued to work Central Kitchen, and I had a couple conversations with the camarada. He held it like a soldado, right? As the other time later on. But he was hurt. Of course he was hurt, Remember when Wicked drove up, he was the only one that que ahí te va esto, es otro que ocupas, ahí te va comida, you know, as we should all, for the next sureño that drove up, we gotta receive him with open arms. But Homeboy took pride in dealing with one of his own. And when it literally like started seeing Homeboy after this, even though we were near each other, we didn't really cross words, cause yeah, well, he knew I was close to other homeboy, I didn't agree with his get down for the simple fact that a few days later, some gawas, they rushed some camaradas and, it was time to put the state blues and boots and, you know, go man up. And homeboy started sidelining, like, nah, mate. So in reality, to me, that's a sign of weakness. When you're quick to move on one on your own, but when it comes to buck up and really rip, then you start sidewinding. It's just, it didn't make sense to me. Needless to say, the camarada held his mug and he kept pushing down the line. As I have told before, yeah, we were in Palmas and he couldn't let go of something because he loved his neighborhood. And that other homie from Columbus, they bumped heads to the point where, well, you guys know. As the years went by, Wicked's name, to be sincere, always ranked for the fact that he was under quite a few pilis. But you see, I see all these videos about him and they don't seem to touch on the main core, which was the one he was doing the most for, was Mosca. Now, just to give you guys a little backstory, Mosca he was a D. He was one of those that he pushed up on other members and he did not care, especially when he knew he couldn't touch him, right? Allow me to explain, that there was a time where Mosca had a certain yard and the Ayala brothers, they requested for a seat. And this is in the beginning where that Mesa system was starting to want to kick off, right? It was still Llavero system. Pilis were taking advantage that you could still have your man receiving everything instead of allowing other members. So the Ayalas wanted permission to have one of their workers on this yard, not step in his toes or have any type of control, but do allow them to hit, and all the feria went clean back to them. And Mosca said, Chales, that yard is mine. And what they're shooting me, I'm touching base with other people here, so you gotta start minding your business. You belong on death row, take care of death row. Now, this is many years before all this new stuff's happening, right? Where these individuals, they're walking the main line. Now, in any way, shape, or form, am I trying to point fingers to anybody? I don't know what happened. I don't want to know what happened, cause, it's just best that way. But me personally knowing these individuals, I don't believe in coincidence. First and foremost, the Ayalas have a lot of strings with paisas. Wicked was one of those that believe paisas to be used and abused, to be punked, to basically, I like what you have, I'm gonna take it, do something. Ayalas don't think like that because they see the potential that the paisas can bring to the table. That's off the top. Second of all, you know, homeboy got to where he got, supporting a vato that disrespected them directly, even though he was a carnali. Pretty sure they would have bucked up if it would have been done in person. But again, Mosca was that individual that he felt safe, right? This is the days of the shoe. So off the back, then you have them coming out the death row, power hungry, pushing that line that yo soy, yo soy, yo soy. So of course, for those that know Wicked, he wasn't going to sit down and allow that to happen, right? Or at least we stroll together or chales, and they weren't going to take that. Period. For those that have been in the game, you guys believe in coincidence, coincidencias. This vato's been there for almost a year. Once this vato gets kicked out death row, gets there and pacatela, you're gone. You know, as you guys know, my walk don't allow me to wish nothing bad on nobody. But without doing so, this individual hurt a lot of people. Just if you go back and hear what he did to his own neighborhood. Now, please, for those that at one point game banged or was part of it in some sense, sit down and analyze. These were the individuals you grew up with as a kid. You were out there riding with, representing that little section you believed to be yours. In my case, got shot 4 times, ran over, put in coma for my neighborhood. For me to do anything against my neighborhood, that would be something that makes me a chavala, right? Without calling nobody. Speaking about myself. But it's the reason why I didn't like this individual. And a lot more reasons I could speak on. But let me just say this. When he was a camarada, he took pride in stepping on camaradas that wanted to mind their own business. He would finesse it to the point where he'll have him removed and thrown on that yard. Years down the line, I heard of something he did, and as being sitting there receiving the mapilis and directing them, I came to notice of this vato, the quejas, the complaints they were sending up to Corcoran, and he was a dirty vato. I don't favor no faction. Again, I'm trying to be as careful as I can not to point marcas, fingers, nada, which I'm not doing so. Again, I'm nobody. I don't know nothing. I've been reaching out to a certain camarada that's out there in El Valle, and I wanted to get more ground facts on the whys, which if I do, I won't put them out there for you guys. Ustedes saben, I don't like to speak out I like to tell things because either I was there, I know so, or who I hear from is 100% trustful. If any random vato came and I know him and told me something, como dicen, hear him, takes things into consideration, and keep pushing. But, Wicked became who he wanted to become, but he never slowed down. For those that are from out there, please, do come on my comments or contact me. I wanted to come from a third party. And please do on what happened last year with the homies from Black Street due to Wicked. So again, karma's real. This vato was power hungry, not just power hungry. He really didn't like his raza. He used his raza to prove a point. Again, there was somebody in my comments saying, power corrupts. Oh, definitely. You get 10 individuals, and like they say, give them power and you get to know them real good. 9 of those individuals, they're going to become somebody else. I thank my Lord that, I never had ambitions to be anything but what I went in to be. Or to be sincere, I don't know what would happen. Cause I was that dumb butt at one point that I felt obligated to please these individuals. Which I'm so thankful that I came to Mexico and I wiggled with the vatos out here and I seen so many things that, I used to put it to a side cause I'd be like, okay, we're out the terre, we're not in Califas, we're in the States, so different rules and regulations, so you have to blend in and keep pushing. That was my dumb mind trying to tell me how to do things, how to take things, how to accept things, but in reality, como dicen, aquí en Rusia, en China, yo soy lo que soy, and I should never bring flag down, which is our rules, our beliefs. But, being the dummy I was, I kept fooling myself. It's like this individual, you know, he always stepped on our gente to benefit his ego. So now the question is, I personally know I'm one of the vatos that da movida, which it don't matter which one, just one of them. And as far as I know, he's just a camarada. So now the question is, are they going to play the dirty games, which is they're untouchable? So they use and abuse camaradas to do this. Now, are they going to get touched by a different feeling? Why? Because it's always about quien los tiene más grandes, right? But anyways, mi gente, there's been a lot of said about this individual that I try to avoid touching on that because there's no need for me to touch on same thing being touched by 30 other people, right? I just thought I would share with you guys this story, This guy was just one of them, definitely, but the two key points that a lot of people don't touch is who he was really touching base with the most, which is Mesa, as you guys know. He went out the window a while back, and due to that, these vatos get to where this individual at is. Again, you have to always be watchful which MM member you please, because the next one might be bumping heads and that's your butt. So for all those out there, this is another perfect example. You can never do anything right inside. So maintain out there, loyal to your homeboys you love, your family, yourself. With this said, I will touch in better on all. I'm working on a lot of things for you guys. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. God bless, my love.